Hello, gorgeous. I am so thrilled and excited that I can be sharing with you guys my secrets to dating and how I manifested the amazing, charming king that I have the honor to call my husband since the last 23 years. Now, why is it important for us as women or men for that matter in the dating game? Why is it important for us to be super clear about what we want? I had a lot of experience, right, between the age of when I started dating till I married my husband. I had a lot of experience in the dating game. And I learned so much about what I didn't want. And the thing is, if you focus on what you don't want, you get more of what you focus on. We met when I was 27 years old. I just became 51. And what was the turning point for me was when I understood the power I have to create my own reality, to create what I want, to create my dreams, to create not only the things I want to attract to me, but also to own the talent that I have inside of me and choose to direct my life with intention and focus, as opposed to just hoping for the best and just sort of being hopeful and you know, it's good to have hope. It's good to, you know, have trust, but we also need to be clear about what we want. Clarity is prosperity. Clarity is what allows you to become a super manifester. Clarity is what brings everything that you want towards you, as opposed to just you having to run out and get it and find it, right? So clarity allows you to recognize, this is what I have asked for. Now, why is it important for us as women or men for that matter in the dating game? Why is it important for us to be super clear about what we want? Because there's only one person that knows you, and that is you. You know what you love. You know what your values are. You know what you need. You know what you're looking for. You know if you're looking for a monogamous relation, monogamy, right? You know if you're looking for that. You know if you're looking for an open relationship. You know if you're ready to have kids and want to create a family with 3, 4, 5 kids, right? You know if you want to live in this country because it's warm and or you need to be in the mountains. And so understanding who you are and what lights up your soul is very important in being able to attract and recognize your partner when they come into your life. So I had a lot of experience, right, between the age of when I started dating, right, till I married my husband. I had a lot of experience in the dating game. And I learned so much about what I didn't want, right? And the thing is, if you focus on what you don't want, you get more of what you focus on. So it's very important to find a way to stay focused on what you really want to create. So when I ask women what they don't want, or what they want, they say, well, I know what I don't want. I don't want somebody who smokes. I don't want somebody who, doesn't eat healthy. I don't want somebody who isn't, kind and respectful to my family. Or, so they're very focused on what they don't want. But the problem with that is you get more of what you focus on. So the question is, what do you want? So I'm going to share exactly how clear I became in order to be able to attract my amazing husband. And obviously, we are doing well in a conscious relationship. We've had our ups and downs, we've had our question marks, and I think that will always continue to happen, because as long as you continue growing, you always wonder if, the next storm that comes in the relationship, can you make it through that storm? And I think being that genuine and honest with each other is actually what allows a relationship to thrive, because you don't go in the arrogance of, well, we're going to be together forever, honey. Like, well, if we keep each other happy, if we're, making beautiful love making and we're growing in our sexual connection, if we can laugh and belly laugh deeper than ever, even after like more and more each year we laugh more, right? If we can find a way to stay elevated together, then yes, because that's what we deserve. That's what you deserve. That's what I deserve. We deserve the best that life has to offer, but we're not going to get the best if we don't ask for it, right? So, in my many dating games that I was playing, I discovered a couple of things about myself. I discovered that freedom was one of the highest values for me. So, I needed a man who was open to this lifestyle of exploring where to be. I didn't want somebody fixed in a village, in a city, and this is my city, and I don't want to be anywhere else, right? Can't imagine living anywhere else. So that became one of my non-negotiables. I want to meet a guy, and I'm going to share my non-negotiables with you that allowed me to start dating with real oomph, right? So one of the things that I, came to the conclusion of is I don't want a guy, okay, who is fixed. He's fixed in his idea that I need to live here. I wanted somebody that we could co-create and find out what we both love, and then maybe have multiple places where we live, or just be global nomads if that's what felt right. But I felt like freedom of movement, and having someone who's confident enough to know that they can travel the world and go places and even live in different places than where they maybe were when we met them. So that became very important to me. So boom, it was on my non-negotiable list. I do want someone, and again, I'm not going to focus on what I don't want. I want to focus on what I do want. But focusing on what you don't want would look like this. I don't want somebody who hates traveling. I don't want somebody who's, totally obsessed with his city and doesn't want to move from there. Like, so that's how you want to phrase it, to the positive, right? Another thing that I realized that was super important to me was, if the guy had kids or not, because I dated some guy with kids. And what happens when somebody has children, there's nothing wrong with this. I think it's awesome. They want to be around their kids, and they need to stay in a certain location so that they can do that, because most of the time, kids live in a specific location. Not a lot of people travel the world with their kids, but some people do, and that's awesome, right? But most of the time people go to school, kids go to school. There's very regimented way of living, right? And so I realized that I needed a guy who didn't have kids, so that we could create our own family and our own idea of how we wanted to move around the world together, right? So this became a very clear, I want a guy with no kids, so we can create our own family and create our own lifestyle of how we want to move around with that family. I was 27 years old. I could create whatever I wanted, right? I just needed to get clear. And the experience I had in the past made me understand that that was an important factor for me. So the other thing that was also important for me is to be with somebody where they were able to stand on their own 2 feet, take care of themselves, have their thing going on in life that they were, passionate about, and having a certain level of success in their world. Because, I was traveling around the world, teaching and empowering people, and I felt I was like at a really strong place where I felt like I really know who I am, I know what I want, and I would rather be with somebody that's more in the space of having already figured out something in their life, as opposed to being completely lost and and all over the place. So this was something very important to me, right? So really wanted to have that, kind of got your shit a little bit together, did the work. Another thing that was super important, in fact, I would say was the most important thing, and maybe I should have led with that, right, was I'm a personal growth, self-mastery mentor, right? And I needed a guy who was doing personal growth work in the same language as me. So when I talk about, the universe, I talk about manifestation, I talk about inner peace, I talk about heart resonance, I talk about grounding and centering. I wanted someone that didn't turn their nose up at that and like, oh honey, that's for you, but I'm over here doing this, right? No, I needed someone who wanted to grow with me and who was willing to do the work on himself. All of us have a shadow. We have a part of ourselves that's not nice. that's not gentle, that's not caring, that's not generous, that's not loving, that lashes out, that is judgmental, that is criticizing yourself and others all the time. And unless we own our negative self, it's very difficult to actually let our love flow and really be the beautiful, shiny beings that we are, right? So a lot of us want to be seen as good people, but we don't want to own that there is a part of us that just isn't that good. Yeah, and all of us have this. I call it the shadow. So I wanted a guy who was working on himself, able to own his places where he needs to grow and things that he wanted to transform in himself, in his life, and in his world. So that was one of the most important things to me, because I wanted to be able to grow together and have deep, meaningful conversations and don't feel like, oh, you don't understand what I'm saying. Oh, we don't speak the same language. So that was also important. So, you know, those are just, a few, I would say, very key things, right? Having that connection in the same spiritual language, right? And the fact that he could meditate with me and be in growth mindset. Having that freedom to be able to explore what we want to create as a family together or not, because I wasn't even sure I wanted to have kids. Having that place where he'd already experienced some success and he already had some confidence in himself and was able to go into the world and feel, like he's already grown up. Even though I was young, I felt that was important to me to have that level of awareness in my partner, because I'd been with guys that were, like more spiritual seeker, flowing and, dirty feet and walking around like okay, no, look, I don't want to make it sound like those are the only type of guys I dated, but I did spend 5 years in India, right, with a teacher, with a lot of people that were in the scene, right, and not everyone had dirty feet, so don't get me wrong, I certainly didn't, right. As you can see, I love beautiful things in life, but just to understand why that was maybe something that became apparent to me. Like, as much as I love wandering and the nomad life, I also love the beauty and good things that life have to offer. And I also want to have the sense of success. That has always been something important for me, not just in my partner, but also in myself and how I want. I believe that abundance is not just internal, it's external as well, right? So it's all about the non-negotiables, ladies. It's all about getting super clear. Now, how did I implement this? Because some of us write these things and we have our non-negotiables, then we start dating, and then we meet a beautiful guy, and oh, he has kids. Oh, but maybe that wasn't such an important thing for me, right? We start to pivot. We start to go away from what we said we really wanted, and we start doing other stuff. And this is exactly how we start to manifest situations that we don't want to be in, right? So those non-negotiable has to be real important, and you have to commit to it, yeah? And not you don't have to. I suggest you do, because I have taught this secret to many other people who have managed to stick to it, and guess what happened? They attract their partner, and what the magic is you recognize the partner when they come in. And yes, maybe you have to go on a bunch of dates, and in these dates you ask powerful questions. Like I would ask, yes, do you have kids? And if they said yes, I'd be like, okay, that's okay. Like I just know exactly what I'm looking for, and I think you're awesome, but I know what I want. And I did date a lot, so trust me, I didn't just come to this non-negotiable list just out of nowhere. I dated. I was on the scene and I saw this isn't working. Just going out there without an agenda, just hoping to be able to recognize the guy, wasn't working for me. And that's why I created this very clear picture of what I wanted. And one other thing that might fascinate you about what I did is that I decided to put the brakes on intimacy during any type of dates that I was having. So I'd go on dates and I had my non-negotiables. I wanted to have conversations to understand what's going on with this person, who are they? And, lots of guys were into wanting to hug me, hold my hand, kind of get intimate pretty fast. And I said, no. I said, look, I know exactly what I want. I'm not into just the free sex. I've been there, done that. It's all awesome, right? The fast, quick sex part, like, I feel like I'm done with that. And now I'm really looking for a life partner. So I don't know what your game is. I don't know who you are. I don't know what your intentions are. But if you're interested in being with me, you need to pump the brakes, right? Let's get to know each other. Let's understand, do we have the same humor? Do we do we want the same things? Like, let's explore. Let's get to know each other. This separated, in this case, the boys from the men very fast. Okay, I had guys dropping like the connection with me, literally, like they wouldn't call me back. Because they'd put their arm around me and I would literally have to remove their arm and say, look, I like you. I think you're awesome. Okay. But this is how I want to move forward. If there's something here, I want us to take it slow. Right. Oh, they disappear. Oh, they disappear. Right. A couple of guys came for a second date or third, but it became apparent that we're not a good match. And so, and finally, not finally, it's not like I had to go through 300 dates. I mean, actually, in a very short amount of time, I met Kai, my now husband. And he was so respectful when I said, I just need to get to know you. He was like, of course, no problem. And we talked, and everything I'd asked for was there. I was terrified to open my heart and get involved again because it is vulnerable when you're feeling strong and you're feeling amazing and you meet somebody where there's potential. The fear comes up, right? But the power of the non-negotiable list and the power of really taking time before you dive into the sexual part, this will allow you to, it will allow you to do conscious dating, right? With awareness. So you are conscious of the choices that you're making, creating that friendship so that even if it doesn't work out, you've built a connection with that person. You've built a foundation of respect and honor. So you can say, yeah, we're not the right match, but it's been awesome. And you move away, right? Without even having had sex, but at least having had that time to check and start to explore. Yeah, sex is not everything, okay? Because we are very horny and we all want to just jump in. Like, no, pump the brakes, okay? You need to develop a connection, right? And yes, that's an important part of it, but you might not have that amazing sexual connection from the first day. I can tell you, my husband and I didn't. That being said, we're having the greatest sex I've ever had in my entire life. And we're 23 years into this game. And every time we make love, I'm like, what is happening? So much more beautiful because we've grown together, right? So you want to take some of these tips, take some of these insights, start to apply them, start to have fun while you're dating. You want to meet an elevated person, you need to be elevated, right? It's not two halves coming together. It's not your soulmate story. It is two wholes co-creating in the same space, right? That's the real love story that I would advise you to look for. Find yourself, know yourself, love yourself, take care of yourself, be inspired by you, enjoy your own company, enjoy working on developing a loving, respectful, and gorgeous relationship with yourself. Know what you want to feel and experience, yeah? And start to bring that in so that when you do manifest where it looks like on paper, if I can call it that, because these non-negotiables, right? It's something we've made up in a sense, right? When it looks like, wow, yes, this could be something, you are at least open, yes, and you know that you've set yourself up for success because you haven't compromised on what you know you need and want, right? And so you want to start that relationship on a strong footing. Now, I'll give you an example of how you could be operating in this, right? Where you write your non-negotiable and then you'll just throw that out the window and go back to starting just dating anybody. And then it doesn't work. And then you're wondering, why isn't this working? Because you need to draw it in. we get what we ask for in life. This is not just, a nice, personal growth motivational statement. I have discovered this in business. I've discovered this in friendships, in intimate relationships, in health, in every area of my life. Clarity is prosperity. You know what you want, and you align what you say you want with action. Yes, you say yes to the things you say you want. You say yes, and you don't doubt it. You don't get confused. You don't start doing other things, right? So I wish you all of the success you deserve to have in drawing in the other whole that is going to enrich your world, and stay in your heart. Stay in the wonder of love, which is all around you all of the time. Whether you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, love is your birthright. Love is who you are when you go deep, 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 deep into your essence. Love is your core. Stay in love. And then you will continue to be in love with or without a partner. Some partners will come, some partners may leave, but love will remain because it is your birthright. Mwah! Thanks for listening, guys.